Hello, this is Alan on another of my gotcha videos with ECL. This time I thought I'd do a bit on macros and the vagaries of expand and where it can't be used, in what context. Now, looking at the reference manual, expand seems very straightforward. All it's basically taking is a token string. So in other words, its input is a string, and it just puts that into, does whatever manipulations it does to that token string, and inserts that into the token stream of a lexical analyzer. And in fact, I've actually reproduced this macro here in this little thing here. So what I'm doing, exactly the same macro, I've got my two inputs here, and effectively I'm expanding link flags, and in one of them I want to join on rec ID, and on the second one I want to join on first name. And if I syntax check, that's all well and good. There we go, lovely jubbly. But the important thing to note here is that it's expanded distinct tokens into the token stream, because effectively comma will be a token here to the lexical analyzer, and close bracket semicolon will be another token. So this is a distinct token. It's not just textual substitution. So in an example here, I've got a rather contrived example, which is much the same. So if I take the reference manual at face value, I should be able to do something like split those names up into two. So I've got rec ID as two macro variables, and I've got first name as two macro variables. And you think, well, all I have to do, if that's macro and doing textual substitution, I can just do text1 substitute text2 and do that. Effectively, if what I'm doing, I'm concatenating two strings together, and the macro will do textual substitution, and I'll get rec ID, which will be perfectly valid. This should all work. And lo and behold, it doesn't. Rec, and it doesn't give you, so it has expanded rec, but it hasn't concatenated the rec2 rec ID here. So you think, oh, okay, then that was perhaps not right. So let's try this. So all right, what I'll do is, because expand does a textual substitution, I can just expand text1, put that into the string, and I can concatenate immediately text2. So let's try something like that. And again, that doesn't work because expand, we're trying to construct one token from two expand statements. Really, expand will expand into distinct tokens here. So let's see how to actually fix this. So we'd have something like what you'd have to do in this particular case, let's get here, you can't do expand text1 text2. What you'd have to do is effectively make that to textual stream by doing plus text2, and then let's get rid of that expand, plus. So here I've got two text streams which I'm concatenating together. I'm then using expand to insert them into the token stream, but it is a distinct token in its own right. So that should, with a fair wind behind it, work. Yay! But as I said, it's not as straightforward as just textual expansion there. So in another scenario, these are strings at the moment I've got here, but let's say I didn't have strings. Let's say I was just passing the these items in here not as strings. So again, you think to yourself, right, all I need to do is convert them to strings and just concatenate them here. So, you know, naively you think that should work. No, and it doesn't. And the error, again, isn't that clear about what's going wrong here. So what you'd have to do in this particular scenario is convert them both into text, then concatenate them, then expand. And that should now syntax check and work. But it only works again because expand is expanding to a distinct token. You're not concatenating. More complex example here. Let's just try this one. So I'm constructing out of all these attributes here. I'm constructing a new attribute called base value underscore attribute. Right, and again, having to use expand around here, around the entire left hand side of the expression, because you couldn't just put expand concatenating, because this isn't this base value underscore is a part of a variable, and that's concatenating another part of a variable, but it's not a complete token stream. So this compiles, but if you notice, if I try something like this, again, this won't compile using the XPath to a symbol variable. Again, nothing like this. Even if you make that text, so you say, oh, the problem there was because that was text here. So let's put that text in. That still won't work because you're trying to construct individual token. So things like here, just proving expand that string, that still won't work because again it's not a distinct token here. Interestingly though, in these examples here, then the symbol variable here, you have to expand. So you've got a macro, a parameter to a macro, and here you have to use expand to expand it into the token stream. That will fail. But here, where you've got a symbol variable here, you don't require the expand. You don't need expand around this. This will work. So if I make that a string, so I'm passing string expand, and it's a whole token, so that will work. Oh, if I've used the correct, sorry, if I'd used that. But so will, in this particular case with these values, just the symbol variable on itself. But we saw in this scenario that doesn't work. Right, so there's all sorts of, so really the takeaway point from this is that really you have to construct distinct tokens with expand. You can't just concatenate text and expand it into the token stream with expand, which is what you would understand if you just had a naive reading of the reference manual. And the other takeaway is that the errors don't really tell you very much, don't really give you much help about what's going on. And there's also the fact that symbol variables in this context here work, but macro variables in this context require expand. And it's all those little subtle differences that make it a nightmare to use macros. And I hope that's cleared that up. If you've got any more questions on macros, please put them in the comments. Anyway, see you in the next gotchas. Bye.